Nobody wants me hanging around. I left it from a tree in the middle of town. And I'm out of step with the others. I'm stuck somewhere between high school and old school. I can't decide if it's my road or your road.
Hi, welcome back. It is the Eyes of Alice Cooper, and every time I'm going to hold this up, it's just going to fucking nuke the brightness on the screen, like so. If anybody's wondering why I got the vinyl version, since, past Dada, I've had the CDs, and past Forth here as well, that's because the Eyes of Alice Cooper is an absolute pain to find in, third markets. I don't know why. I'm just assuming it has something to do with the record label. Eagle Rock. There are playlists of this album on YouTube. However, it's not official, meaning that it's not through the official Alice Cooper. It's kind of interesting to where there's one person does a couple of songs overplaying as he's doing some Photoshop art. I'll put the link in, as I always do with the albums. But yeah, it's so weird when it comes to this album. I don't even think this is on Spotify either. I don't think so. But I found this on eBay, and to tell you the truth, the vinyl, the reason why I have it is because it was cheaper than a CD. People want I don't know, $40 for the CD, and this one was $25. And also it was the Red Eyes, which I kind of wanted. I believe the other colors are, is it green and purple, blue and purple, something like that. But yeah, very strange when it comes to this album in terms of that. There are a couple of things I have to say first. So this week and next week, I'm going to be pretty busy in terms of school. There's just a lot of work and exams coming up too. So I won't be able to make an album review next week. Maybe the following Wednesday, what is that, the 15th or so. Yeah, sorry. So it's just been pretty busy. I have a couple of videos up already just to go off. I've made an Alice Cooper Guess the Song quiz video, since it seemed like quite a few people enjoyed the trivia one. So I was like, alright, the next one will be to make a Guess the Song quiz. It's I don't think it's not overly difficult. I didn't make it as each question progresses it gets harder. I was just kind of let's just mash some shit together. But in any case, look forward to that. That might be around Tuesday. I might have that up on Tuesday. But yeah, that's what I wanted to say. But to get back to the album itself, I really do enjoy the album cover. Pretty cool. As you can see, Alice was way ahead of his COVID game. And well, the makeup is back to the traditionalist. The sort of spider makeup, though it's more like a smoky texture than, I guess, his original, But it's pretty cool. And then the backside, there's the band, and Eric Singer as well, who did drums for Alice for, a decade or something, right? But cool stuff there. Alice also, with the shirt he's wearing, that's pretty cool, with the killer, calendar when he's being hung. This album, it's a return to a garage rock, which is pretty good for Alice. I really enjoy his previous two industrial metals, but it is nice to hear a sort of return to basics. And then the next album, Dirty Diamonds, will be that. Then after that, we're back to this macabre storyline. But I think he does a pretty good job. I would say that I think this album really hits its mark on the B side. There's some good stuff on the A side, but I think once you get to Bye Bye Baby and Be With You Awhile, it kind of falls off for me. But then it rises again for the B side, which I think is pretty damn good. For the inside of the sleeve, I'm sure it was like this on the CD. He's rocking a boiler hat. So we saw on the Trash tour he can rock a fedora. Here he can rock a boiler hat. And then there's this one, the sort of transparent look on it. But yeah, pretty cool stuff. It kind of reminds me of an album I do have. Some of the songs, they had this distortion, almost 2010 music-wise, which it sounds like the band's playing in a tunnel with a $5 microphone. So if you ever heard this band, I swear it's a real band, Bass Drum of Death. This is the album called Rip This. It kind of reminds me, some of those songs kind of remind me of this huge distortion. This is a pretty good album if you're into that sort of Ramones meets distortion type of sound to it. I'll put a link into that in case you're interested. But as I said, The Eyes of Alice Cooper, so let's get started. So you start the album off with What Do You Want From Me? I'm going to be honest, this took me a few listens to try and get into. I think, when I first listened to this album, maybe even the second time, I was like, man, it seems like, I mean, obviously, he's made other albums that I don't agree with this statement, but this album, kind of like getting into it at first, I'm like, man, it seems like the steam's running off a bit, maybe the well's a little dry in terms of material, but the more I listen to this song, the more I enjoy it more and more. I guess it's just the notion of Alice singing about Xbox and burning my porno and stuff like that. And then talking about the market chain Target. I'm like, oh, okay, I guess so. But, the more times I listen to it, I enjoy it. But I do enjoy the intro with the guitar playing. And this whole time it's, maybe it's her fault, maybe his fault, though, I don't know, it seems like he's kind of he doesn't really know what to make in terms of being a nice guy, because he opens up with I'm calling every day on my telephone, rub my fingers right down the bone, and then he's giving her this stuff like, I got you a pet chihuahua or a picture of me and I sign it on it so that you can remember my name. So obviously she doesn't care about him too much. It's almost as if it kind of follows a concept on this album for a song like Bye Bye Baby. I can kind of see that being the same couple. But the whole point is Alice, at least this character, is doing these sort of mundane or just otherwise like cruel arts, like, hey, here's me loving you by giving you this, giving you that, hey, why are you upset about me? I took you to Target so I can buy you a cake, like stuff that really would blow you on the first date. But he seems to be in the right. But I do enjoy the chorus where he's kind of shouting out, what's the deal? I've given you everything, baby, what do you want from me? And then he sings about how he's like, man, I burn all my porno. And then somebody else comes in. I can't recall if it's like Ryan Roxy, but he comes in with this sort of high raspiness energy, singing like, oh, it said they offended you. And then he's like, and then Alice comes back in for, I dumped all my girlfriends, even the genuine ones, and disconnected my Xbox. So he's kind of just, giving stuff away in his life that really, maybe in the grand scheme of things, really isn't all that important. Though you can argue whether or not that makes a strong relationship or a healthy relationship, that you can decide. But at the end of the case, yeah, he's just like, man, what's the deal with you and whatnot. And then there is a fun part which I really do enjoy. It's this sort of distorted low decibel where he's singing more about stuff that he gave her, gave her this diamond rings and stuff like that. And then it rises and rises again. And there is a cool part as well to where they're all sort of shouting and singing, baby, what do you want? What do you want? As the instruments are all loud. And then it stops when it gets to the, what do you want from me? And then it hits again with the instruments. I really did enjoy that part. But, what do you want from me? It's a guy trying to get this girl that he loves, and the stuff that he does maybe really doesn't show that affection. They sound like they don't care for each other, maybe they're not the nicest people. But, what do you want from me? Like I said, it took me a few times, but I enjoy it. Alright, the next song, though, between High School and Old School, is one I really enjoy. There's a sort of alternative genre to some of these songs, which I know he hasn't done, but this one gives it that vibe. And the next one, Man of the Year, the first time I heard it, and even now, it sounds like Green Day to me, the way that the voice is. But this one, it's about a loner, like at school or a high school, And, he's like, I guess I'm a loser and I don't fit in. No. And, this sort of, he paints this atmosphere of this, lost kid, this lost student, just a lost person in general. He's talking about, he doesn't fit in. He's trying to, but people just don't really care for him. He's just an outcast. But the chorus is freaking amazing. Just this soft, low, almost like depressed tone to it. Where he's talking about stuck somewhere between high school and old school. I can't really decide between my rules and your rules. And then they come in with this sort of hey, 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 hey. And then you get to that great part, right? Well, not so great for the character, but in terms of a line switch is what was it? I guess nobody wants to hang around with me, no, unless it's from a tree in the middle of town. Then they come in with the more hey, and the chorus again with the high school and old school, and then the character goes through where he's talking about his style, like my clothes don't fit me, my hair ain't cut right, no I don't care at all. So it's just, kind of out there, he's just totally lost. And then it gets this sort of, I don't know, like trippy atmosphere almost, where he's singing about, I guess my brain's out of sync, I think. And then there's a sort of, I don't know, it's like a Glock sound or something, but then it hits the guitar again, and then they come in even louder for the chorus between high school and old school. So this song, I guess if you want to compare it to the next thing in terms of school's out, it doesn't match. However, I do really enjoy this sort of depressed, alone state that this song brings, and I honestly think it's a pretty good song. For the next one, though, is Man of the Year. This brings a good story. I really enjoy this message to where someone that can seem like Mr. Perfect, deep down can be really depressed, and if they take their lives, which this person does in the song, a lot of people are scratching their heads wondering why they would do that. Like, well, it seemed like you owned everything, you were perfect, the most happy, beautiful life, and you took your life away. So this song, I really do enjoy that message because, he sings about all these things, all the good things that he's done. He's like a saint. Maybe a bit over embellishing things, of course, when he's singing about how the Queen made him a knight, Pope made him a saint, I made Madonna faint, but again, with the vocals on the song, like I talked about earlier, I don't know who the lead singer is of Green Day, but he definitely brings that tone to it, at least for me, because he's like, I kiss the wife, I pet the dog and cat, prostate is a jewel. But the song itself, like I said earlier, he's going to work, he eats a low-fat breakfast, he kisses the wife, he hugs the kids, pets the dog and cat, walking out the house, going to work, 'cause I'm the man of the year. And then he sings about how it was like in terms of his education, where I never cheated finals, I never skipped a day in school. I believe there's something with Harvard too, like he went off to Harvard as well. So he's just a great guy, probably gets a bunch of high fives at work, promotions and whatnot. And then of course the chorus again with the man of the year, I'm the man of the year. And then of course he, like I talked about earlier, really embellishes what he's like in terms of playing golf with the president, Queen knighting him, Pope sainting him, making Madonna faint, and then it then shifts, because right, it's like it's an Alice Cooper song. It's like there's got to be something wrong with this guy, right? It can't just be all peachy. And then he comes in, he's like, well, why am I so lonely? If I pull this trigger in my mouth, will anybody care? And then he comes in with, it was the greatest funeral, laid in perfect state. And just looking out at the funeral, and then he's up, going to heaven to meet the man of the year. As the band's all playing and singing man of the year. And then Alice will come in with the raspiness too, elevating the lines. So man of the year, it's a really... Oh my god, it's almost like your movie in terms of it's very conversational piece like, and but it really works. Like I said, I really enjoy the way that the message is, and just the way he sings and stuff, and the sort of remarks he makes on his life of, you know, meeting people and doing this and doing that. So I think it's a good song. For the next one is Novocaine. The first time I heard this, I'm like, damn, this is good. Why the hell isn't this on radio? I believe I've heard that it was on radio, maybe like an alt radio. Again, this is what, 2003, right? So I was like 2. But this is a good song. This is one you can tell that, you know, they were trying to hit the radio, but that's okay, you know. It does carry this, again, this alternative vibe to it. And the whole song is the premise of Novocaine, not literally, you know, Novocaine getting it at the dental office, but that he doesn't feel any emotion. So, you know, he opens up with you know, I stubbed my toe, it hurt like hell. You know, I got stung by a bee, something like that. You know, it hurt. And going through all these various pain levels, whether he's going through obstacles or et cetera, et cetera. But the person he's with, he's not really feeling anything anymore. So, because he opens this sort of sad ballad. He's like, you know, when you touch me, when you hold me, when you kiss me, I don't feel anything. And then he goes through it as well. It's just like Novocaine. And then, yeah, he enters this nice beat to where he's like, I remember every color spin, something's wrong inside me, stuff like that. So, yeah, it does kind of repeat the chorus as well from time to time, but that's okay. You know, it's good. But Novocaine, again, it does carry a pretty good theme to it, to which, you know, you can really become numb to stuff, you know, maybe an emotion or an event or attribute, you know, insert whatnot, that you felt either joy or pain for, but just the more that you are stimulated to it, you just become numb to it. Trying to find love again, and he's not finding it with the person he's with. However, he can feel these pains, though I'm trying to remember if, like, towards the end, if he's talking about his partner or just, like, the various other things he's going through, that he's like, man, what I'll give to feel it again, because I don't feel it. So, you know, he's like, I can feel this, I can feel that, but these other stuff I can't. So, Novocaine is a good song. I really do enjoy the chorus and this sort of sad state that he's in. That is the case with a few of these songs, is that he does present it in this sort of sad, depressed teenager vibe to it, that I enjoy the way that he does on here. So yeah, Novocaine, I think it's a good song. If you haven't heard it, check it out. I think it's pretty good. For the next one is Bye Bye Baby. So I talked about earlier to where it kind of falls apart for me so much, because, you know, when you look at this album cover, right, it should be very heavy in terms of its garage sound, in terms of its hard rock. And this, it's kind of like, okay, you know, what do you want from me? Yeah, it has that. And then between Highschool and Oldschool, it kind of has that sort of, you know, obviously that depressed loner state. But a few of the other songs, while I said it's good, it doesn't really invoke that atmosphere on the album cover. But like I said, side B is like when it really kicks it in gear. So for Bye Bye Baby, like I said earlier, I'm saying that a lot, right? Like I said earlier, I feel that it's just the same couple in which he's back again on the telephone, calling you every day. And really just the whole premise is that the wife or the partner that he's with that was in LA moved to New York. So he's painting this story of, you know, like, oh, you didn't like the smog, you didn't like the LA freeway, so that's why you moved to New York. And, you know, you didn't like Hollywood, you didn't like this, you didn't like that. And there's a female backing vocal that just does the as it rises through it. I think that adds a nice touch to it. And then the chorus itself is the bye bye baby, bye bye girl, you're in another world. The bye byes, it's that Michael Bublé song. That's all I think when I hear that, the bye 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 bye. But So, like, again, he's all alone again, I guess. And he's just completely upset. He's like, man, I used to call you on the telephone. I used to do this, I used to do that. I'm not really hearing from you anymore. There was a good line, though, on this song, to which he's, now I have a broken heart in 3 time zones. I really did enjoy that part. It's just kind of the thing with, this song, and, like, the next song, too, it's like, man, how did that go again? You know, kind of forget it sometimes, which isn't a good thing, obviously. But just the whole premise of the Bye Bye Baby, you know, it's really just that. I do enjoy it towards the end. I believe this is the song to which it changes to as if you were hearing it on the telephone. It's like, hello, hello, is anybody there? Pick up. You know, I did enjoy that part to it. But like I said, the whole premise, pretty simple. She was with him in LA, Hollywood. Was supposed to kind of be a thing. Really didn't work out. She packed her bags, moved out to New York. I hate this, what do you call it, the West Coast phonies. Just kind of like jabbing here in California because we're kind of the punching bag when it comes to Democrats and shit like that. But yeah, you know, it's alright in terms of a song. Or to finish off with side A, but just track 6 itself is Be With You A While. I had an interesting comment on the last video. Good old Simon from the land down under. He said, it was in remarks to the ballads that he does, in which he said, I believe he said from like Hey Stupid to Here or something like that, that the ballads really are unnecessary. I would agree from Brutal Planet to Dirty Diamonds. However, I'm going to be completely honest. My favorite ballad from those albums, from Brutal Planet to Dirty Diamonds, is the one on Dirty Diamonds, the Pretty Ballerina. I'm sure a lot of people fucking hate that song. Personally, I really enjoy it. I don't know why, but but when you take something like Brutal Planet, right, you know, Take It Like a Woman, I think it would have been so much better had it carried that atmosphere, like When Hell Comes Home from the Welcome to My Nightmare, or, you know, maybe just don't include it. But and then the next one, Dragon Town, which I think is better, which is Every Woman Has a Name. Again, it's like, do we really need it? And then this one, it's like, okay, when you look at this, are you expecting a ballad? And by ballad, I mean a modern version of You and Me from Lace and Whiskey, because that's really what it is. Does it follow the concept of these partners? Yeah. You know, I guess. Yeah, I mean, it does blend nicely from the last song. However, just me thinking of it right now, I'm like, no, it doesn't follow the concept, because these people are at least actually together and love each other. So, like I said, it is a modern You and Me. I'm not trashing the song. It's a good song for what it is. However, it's just, we don't need this. You know, it's like, I get it. We get it. You can write a ballad. It doesn't mean an album needs a ballad, you know. But Be With You A While, it is a beautiful song where, you know, he's very soft-spoken. The instruments are very soft playing, where he's like, you know, I wish I can tell you. I wish I can be with you a while. You know, we'll do this, we'll do that. Go to an old-time movie where we don't know the ending. And, you know, it's just this whole romantic getaway. The chorus is nice. You know, I wish I can be with you a while. Be that endless fascination. Yeah, he goes through life in the song, you know, doing this, doing that. And then when you get old, you know, we're all old, hair is gray, my jokes still make you smile. So just, again, this standard love relationship between him, and, you know, I'm writing to his wife, obviously, since like 99% of these ballads are dedicated to his wife. And, but yeah, you know, it's a very straightforward song. I'll do this, I'll do that, you and me. You know, instead of eating popcorn and watching TV. That would be something, right? Watching popcorn and eating TV. I don't know. But yeah, this song, straightforward. It does not have to be on here, but the song itself, it's good. Alright, for the B side though, like I said earlier, that's when shit really gets kicking. Cause like past two songs kind of but this one is Detroit City. So I knew when I was listening to the Detroit Stories album, I was like, oh, I know the song Detroit City from Breadcrumbs, but it took me a little while to. At least I don't think I heard it on Detroit Stories. I think I read like in the list. I was like, oh, that's the one from Breadcrumbs. But once I got into this album, I was like, oh, it's from here. And then obviously the chorus and like the lyrics were changed to fit the Detroit Stories album. But both songs, regardless of which one you listen to, are pretty good. This one is a very heavy garage rock song, in which it's just all about Detroit. So he's like, me and Iggy playing with Ziggy, and then you got Seeger and the Silver Bullets Fly. Somebody's in the crib, the posse was in the crib, and somebody was barely even alive. And, this is tough for me. It's like, am I going to start blending into the new song, the shock rock, I'm gonna talk. But in any case, it's a very heavy sound, and, yelling out the Detroit City. And then the chorus itself, it's this very light, energetic sound to it, in which he's like, oh, I was born there, probably died there with all my long hair, Detroit City, hit the concrete, sorry, it just, all throughout the song itself is, just the hard, edgy, toughness of Detroit, to which, you grow up, you're expecting these hard rockers, like he's talked about before, to which, if you bring up a ballad singer or a Simon and Garfunkel in Detroit, it's probably not going to go over well, right? But if you bring a Bob Seger or an Iggy Pop or an Alice Cooper or a Ted Nugent, then shit's really going to hit the floor, and that's really what it was all about, right? That sort of that engine, pun intended, I guess, for Detroit, right? Of hard rock, but Detroit City, it's almost like a checklist of various events and various people that happen throughout Detroit in terms of the world of music and hard rock here in the States. But it is a good song, like I said, very hard rock. I do enjoy the chorus part, which I've been saying constantly on this album. Of course, like the next one for their rendition, that part's changed, which I kind of enjoy maybe a little bit more. But in any case, Detroit City, I believe there are a couple of backing vocals that yell out too. But yeah, at the end of the day, this is a good song. Alright, the next one is Spirits Rebellious. This has an interesting history to it, to where oh man, I don't even know, 97 was, I believe I read, that this was supposed to be an album, this super heavy garage sounding, and it's kind of interesting to where I wouldn't doubt if some of the other songs on here, like I'm So Angry and Backyard Brawl, those are very linear, as well as this song Spirit Rebellious. So if that was like an entire album, like that would have been something, right? But it didn't work out in terms of the album, or at least it was supposed to be like, oh, okay, it's going to come out in 2000. Well, no, that was Brutal Planet. Okay, it'll be next year. Well, that's Dragon Town. And then it just ended up as a song here. But it's almost like a rough version of Bad Place Alone, or maybe even Unholy War to it, because this person is like fucking crazy. I heard on a review, I couldn't find a source to this, so I'm not too sure, but obviously this person found it, to where this song was pretty, a lot of people were waiting for it, anticipating it in Ireland, Spirits Rebellious. Something about that song in Ireland, what are you doing, Northern Ireland, I don't know. But like I said, it just became a song, but it is a good song. This has a shit ton of raspiness and energy. I mean, it's like, I don't know, it's almost like metal almost, right? I mean, obviously he's done it before, but this one, it's like, holy shit. just screeching out that voice, especially the lines about the lies, lies, lies. So this person is just singing about, I can do right when all I do is wrong. My attitude is bad and my nerves are raw. So just this very fucking, like, I got nothing to lose. Let me fucking do whatever it takes. I'm going to start shit. The way that he presents the world is right here. It's a hard, hard world with a black corded heart. There's a living, breathing devil trying to tear my soul apart. Just great, great stuff. And then, but he talks about again, he's like, my spirit rebellious. You tell us everything's okay. So it's almost like this sort of attack, or like this split personality almost. And there were some great lines too, like my sins cut deeper than the teeth on a saw. My attitude is bad and my nerves are raw. I'm a shotgun snake. I'm a jackal with claws. I brought up the lyrics here because I'm like, man, I can't miss this stuff, but I can't remember it. But just the whole point of the way through is my spirit rebellious, the rebellion in me. I can't do right because all I want to do is wrong. I know the punishment, but fuck that. As long as I'm able to rebel and cause carnage and, chaos, then that's worth any sort of punishment. And then just I forget if he's like talking about like the world or something. And, like I said earlier, when he's just like screeching out the lies, lies, lies. Just very heavy. Obviously there's distortion to it. But, I mean, holy shit, you want to talk about like a metal garage song? Man, check this song out. It's Spirits Rebellious. I know like in the grand scheme of things, it's kind of like, that was pretty good. Probably not, obviously, out of this world, but it is a good song. There's definitely something to jam to, and just the total punch it brings definitely makes this worth a listen. Alright, the next song though, This House is Haunted, distortion at its best. So this song, what it does perfectly is that the song is very low. It's like, oh, this house is haunted. But when it gets to that part, when like the church bells hit, and just the fucking guitar, brr, 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 just fucking elevates the song, right? But this song, all in itself, like I said, it's very, very quiet. And the he's crying all alone in this house. I wish you were here, that this wife that he was with. And he paints this picture of like what state he's in. And that, she's in the room. And then there's a voice saying that she's gone. And then the chorus hits and it's this hush tone. It's like, oh, this house is haunted. This is where I want a room. And then he goes into more of the story of him and her climbing up the tower. And like, oh, this is the tower where we climbed. This is where she fell. Now I'm going to hell. And then I believe it's this part, right, when it just hits, everything gets all loud. And of course the it's a short song, so then the chorus again with, this house is haunted, or maybe the stuff that hits after that. That would make sense. But then he sees her again, where he's like, I was laying watching TV and there you were. We sat on my couch and, we kissed like we used to and happy all alone. Very, very creepy. But it's kind of interesting when you hear the story of Alice Cooper. He was with, who was it? Rolling Stones, Aerosmith, something like that in the hotel. And stuff was getting moved around, like, they didn't see it. It'd be like, oh, my suitcase is open, that got moved there, that got moved here, etc., etc. What's going on? Y'all messing with us? Something like that. Stuff like that, I should say. And then later on, they would be playing cards, and they hear something in the basement that they know for a fact nobody's down there, so they just got up and left. There is also a story, though. I'll put it in the description if you're interested. Alice read a sort of spooky story on like the official Alice Cooper site about, pretty much like this, honestly. The haunted house. This house is haunted, like I said. It's about this woman, towards the end at least. But just some weird stuff goes on with like a glass of milk. and a chair that seems to be moving. I won't spoil anything, but I put it in the description in case you're interested. But at the end of the day, this house is haunted. Short but effective. For the next one is Love Should Never Feel Like This. It's, again, it's like You Look Good in Rags, or Not That Kind of Love. This sort of, again, he's in love with somebody, but he's got all these feelings, and he's got this atmosphere in his voice that's sort of, love should never feel like this. Must be something wrong. So it's very basic in terms of its approach, in which that the whole premise is he's following, or he's talking about these sort of experiences that you're supposed to expect. Like, oh, people say that love is a beautiful thing, it makes the world go round, there's little birds in the air, it's all, Disney atmosphere. But when he discovers love, he's like, oh shit, I can't eat, I can't sleep, I'm so weak. And then he comes in with the chorus, like I said earlier, the love should never feel like this. And then he goes through the motions of like, oh, okay, I'm in the bathroom, looking at the mirror, just deep breaths. Everybody said this was easy. Everybody said that this was a wonderful experience that you would feel so happy and passionate about. But for him, he's just kind of freaking out, like, oh my god, what is this? What is this? What is this? It's like I said earlier, it's a very basic approach to it. It is kind of funny in terms of, he's getting the polar opposite of a reaction as opposed to the people that he's heard from. Is it the greatest Alice Cooper song? No, not really. But there is an interesting part where he's like, to go back to the bathroom scene, he's like looking in the mirror. He's like, man, I jumped out of my skin because it looks like a junkie out on meth, right? I just got scared to death. So that was kind of an interesting line to it as well. We said crack again. That might have been like another little breadcrumb in terms of his drug addiction at the time. Because I talked about it earlier. He used the lines coke or crack in the Raise Your Fist and Yell in the Trash album. Then the only time you're going to hear him talk about that is Super Duper Alice Cooper when it finally came out. But at the end of the day, this song, it's nothing great. Is it good? Yeah, it's good. I like it, though. It's definitely not a top 10, of course. Or for the next song, it's the song that didn't rhyme. Okay, I'm gonna be completely honest. I skipped this song when reviewing. This is me talking at the end. I was reading off the cover. I was like, oh, my favorite songs are, oh shit, I didn't talk about this song. But the song that didn't rhyme, sorry, it's this sort of, it's this low singing, and it's a very funny song to which he's singing about the song that didn't rhyme. However, the song itself rhymes. So, wrote a song that it was boring. The groupies, they were snoring. Billboard called it a crime. It was 3 minutes flat. Even though the song's like 3:15, something like that. But then he goes in this nice ballad-like. He's like, well, the melody blows. We're a key that no one can find. It's funny. Just the song, he's like, it's pretty trash song. It's not going anywhere. The drummer was out of time, and then that's when the drummer comes in, which the song itself that they're singing about comes in time. So it's a fun juxtaposition between the song that they're singing about that was trash, didn't go right at all, but this song is going right, of course. And then there's something here as well towards the end. It's like, you hated it, but what was it? Thanks for the $12.99, something like that. But I really love the way he sings it. Just that very low ballad-like, just sort of like, yeah, well, sometimes life just goes that way, right? But fun stuff. Again, every line seamlessly rhymes with each other. And just the whole premise. I'm not gonna quote this, or I've I read somewhere a while ago that this was about you and me. Though, like I said, it's been such a long time. I'm sure I'm wrong. I don't know where that person got it from. I think it was on a comment on like some video. If that's the case, maybe, I don't know. I mean, that song did pretty damn well, don't you think? Though, I don't think it would do too well in live event, right? You know, when it came out, you know, I don't know. Whether that's the case or not, I don't know. But at the end of the day, the song that didn't rhyme, it is a funny song. Everything that's going wrong. Oh, hey, that rhymed too. What do you know? And just everybody hated it. Billboard called it a crime. You know, the band hated it. The band broke up. You know, bridges were burned. But at the same time, the song itself is rhyming. It's good, and it is a funny song. For the next song is "I'm So Angry." So again, more of the heavy garage, you know, very alt vibes to it, and like of course it's got the distortion. This one carries the same atmosphere as Spirit's Rebellious in terms of the lies part, which he's like just going fucking bombastic. Though this one is angry, 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 angry. But its premise is very simple to where it's only like pissed him off, you know, says something to him, and he's just going, you know, ape shit over his emotions of, you know, I'm so angry, you know, my head's gonna explode, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. You know, it's like a poison to me, it's like you put me in shock. You know, how dare you say this? And then, but he enters this sort of calm state where he's talking about, is there anyone you didn't meet? Is there anyone you didn't call? So I guess he's just going to fucking destroy this guy. Like, hey, you got any last words to send off to your loved ones? But throughout the entire song, it just gets more and more rambunctious in terms of his attitude. And, you know, just a lot of it, it's just like very, very simple stuff. You know, I'm so angry, I'm so crazy, I'm so crazy, I'm this, I'm that, I'm this, I'm that. You know, there really isn't a whole, it kind of sucks, it's like there really isn't a whole lot to talk about of this song because of how simple it is. You know, you can summarize it in 20 seconds. I do like the change in pace when it comes to the, you know, did you call anybody, did you say this, did you do that? But, you know, it is kind of cool to hear the various sort of, you know, examples that he gives, like, oh man, what you said to me or what you did to me, it was almost like I was shot, or I was injected with poison, or, you know, I was electrocuted, just these various, you know, horrendous experiences that one can go through, and the amount of pain that it can cause gets him like this. He's kind of just like hulks out, right? The instruments towards the end, you know, I mean, it's already kind of crazy to begin with, but just towards the end, it's like just generating so much noise. I can't recall if there is a backing vocal to this, you know, coming in with the angry part, but just when he just unleashes towards the end of just like repeatedly yelling angry, 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 and this is a great piece to go along with the next song being Backyard Brawl, because both of those songs just carry the same amount of energy, the same sort of pissed off attitude, and at the end of the day just the same basic emotions. Alright, to close off the album is Backyard Brawl. I noticed that a lot of times I wear this shirt when doing album reviews, given it is a week. So you're going to see this a lot. But anybody that doesn't know, this is The Undertaker from WWF, you know, World Wrestling Federation / WWE. But fuck, WWE, Jesus. They've like really shot themselves in the foot. If y'all want to hear me talk about wrestling, I don't know, maybe I'll make a video someday, I don't know. But if y'all have heard of AEW, check that out. That's some pretty good shit right there. But this I really enjoy because, you know, it is kind of home to me since I've been a wrestling fan for like over a decade now. And there is a great part, I mean, obviously in the beginning stanzas where he's talking about he's got a cut on his thigh, nail in my eye, bleeding all over the wall. But this part right here to where he's got a barbed wire bat and a dude on the mat, If you guys know Mick Foley from like the 90s into the 2000s, it'd be like Mick Foley or Mankind or Dude Love. But for the Mankind era, he would have this bat sometimes. You know, it wasn't all the time, but he would have a baseball bat with barbed wire around it, and he would go after some guys. He was most famous for he'll have like a pillow bag, and in it will be a bunch of thumbtacks that he'll throw onto the ring, and you'll get like a wrestler, and like 9 times out of 10, they'll reverse it, to which Mick falls onto the thumbtacks. Oh man, he put his body just through hell. Check out Mankind versus Undertaker, Hell in a Cell. Man, that thing is, he gets thrown off like a 25-foot cell onto a table, and then he comes back up the cage, and then Mick just gets chokeslammed through the cell, and he's got a tooth in his nose, just blood everywhere, and then he gets all the thumbtacks. This dude, I mean, it is a tremendous match. You can watch it on YouTube. But yeah, in any case, I'm geeking out right now. But the whole premise is this backyard brawl. Obviously, this backyard wrestling that you get into that, and then if you want to carry on, you go through a training, a school, then like the independents, and then you make your way up into the top. Whether that be New Japan, Impact, AEW or WWE, NXT, whatever it is. But at the end of this. The song Backyard Brawl is just kind of like a bunch of drunk Bostonians getting rough and rowdy with various objects and, fights and maneuvers. But they're just all full of rage, and the dude's kind of like pissed off. He's like, I don't care if you're black or white, but if you're yellow, you'll be bleeding red, or you'll be seeing red, something like that, which is honestly kind of prevalent, right? There's a lot of anti-Asian hate going on, but this whole song is just impacted by the shouting of the backyard brawl, I'm at the backyard brawl, and then it'll be like the little instruments, and then it'll come in again for like other parts that he'll be doing in terms of like like what he thinks about a person or like a move or insert whatnot. But then again, it's just like the song I'm So Angry, to where it gets very rambunctious towards the end, where he's like, backyard brawl, and then he's talking about like losing teeth, and then towards the end is when like censored cuss words start happening, like, you think you're so full of burn, you're such a burn. The only song, like you kind of hear some damn words or maybe bitch. There is bitch and trash, I believe. But like the last time you actually heard a legit cuss word was Enough's Enough with the go fuck and make a buck. This is obviously censored, but it is kind of cool to hear it. It's sort of the bleeping as they're starting to get all rowdy and fighting each other, like come on man, just cussing out at the end, all of them and whatnot. But it is a good song to end the album, that is for sure. And like I said, obviously since I geeked out and you probably skipped that part, which I don't blame you. But yeah, it is fun to listen to. Alright, there you guys go. The Eyes of Alice Cooper. Like I said before, this is a nice return to a garage sound. The next album, Dirty Diamonds, I think is like a true return to form to like an Alice Cooper sounding album. Whether or not I truly agree with that statement, I don't know. I do know it's actually kind of a pretty good album. But in any case, Eyes of Alice Cooper, like I said earlier, I think the B-side really hits it. However, there are great songs, of course, on the first side. Like, between Highschool and Oldschool and Novocaine. Of course, the B-side, Detroit City, House is Haunted, Song That Didn't Rhyme, Backyard Brawl, some very, very good stuff. Great album cover, backside, we're kind of together. Low trivia right here, right? Last time you actually saw a band on the cover for Alice Cooper was Killer, right? In terms of the album cover itself, but there you go. I will see you guys, not next week, but like a few days, maybe like the following Wednesday, for Dirty Diamonds itself. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching, and take care.